Well, today is a momentous day that the entire nation has been eagerly anticipating since Chandrayaan 3, India's pride and envy of the world, took off from the launch pad of Satish Dhawan Space Station in Sriharikota on the 14th of July. With prayers of billions propelling it forward, Chandrayaan 3 will reach its final descent at 5:45 p.m. The historic landing is scheduled to take place at 6:04. This awe-inspiring mission has captured the attention of the entire world, and India, of course, hopes to establish its cosmic dominance and create a blueprint for the rest of the world. Now, the mission, if successful, will lead India to become only the fourth country to achieve a soft landing on the moon, joining countries like America, Russia and China, and also emerge as a space power. It will mark the genesis of India's renewed lunar aspirations. While the initial mission leaned on international partnerships for launch vehicles, Chandrayaan 3 marks a shift toward self-sufficiency, towards Atmanirbharta. Chandrayaan 3 also played a crucial role in India's quest to establish a sustained human presence on moon. With a successful mission, India will become a hot choice among other nations to assist in lunar missions. Let's take a look at this report.
To create a human living conditions on the planet, on moon, is going to be extremely difficult. There is no atmosphere, there is no oxygen or anything. We had to derive it from the water which is present in the polar region. And again, the temperature extremes are very high. Radiation conditions are very severe. So under those conditions, to establish a colony is difficult. But robotic exploration of the moon may find priority in the days to come.
Well, let's go across to our guests. We have Professor R.C. Kapoor, space scientist, Dr. Shivani Verma, Associate Professor, Amity Institute of Space Science and Technology in the studio. We also have Shantanu, astronomer and space communicator. Dr. Verma, life on moon. Now, we know the weather conditions there are extremely challenging. Do you see colonization happening soon? How do you see that as a concept? It has, of course, been imagined as early as 1959, ever since the first artificial object landed on the surface of moon.
So the first lunar mission actually started with Lunar 1, but it was only with Apollo 11 mission that was launched by USA that human beings were able to set their foot on moon for the first time. So since after that mission, human beings have started thinking whether we can actually colonize moon, we can go over there and stay. So in 1971, diffused water molecules were found, but our Chandrayaan 1 mission in 2008, it actually confirmed the presence of water on moon's surface. Not in free state, but in solidified state. So if we ever think of colonization on moon, maybe, we can use that solidified water, we can convert it into liquid form. Further, it can, it can also be subjected to electrolysis process and converted to hydrogen and oxygen, which can be used for breathing, and hydrogen can be used as fuel. So it's a concept, but yes, one can think about it. There is a probability, but yes, things are yet to be more clear with our future missions.
So for a common man to understand this concept, Shantanu, in the future, is it possible for humans to live on moon for days, weeks, months?
Well, in the future, living permanently is something that is a little far-fetched at the moment, but we are NASA is actually sending a team of astronauts to live for a week on the moon, and that is going to happen under their Artemis mission. So Artemis is also actually targeting the lunar south pole to land. So Chandrayaan 3's success would be a stepping stone for them also, and the data that Chandrayaan 3 discovers can also be used by them.
Right. Now, before I go across to Professor R.C. Kapoor, we, of course, have been talking about how, ISRO has managed to bring together this entire mission at a budget which is way, way, way less than some big shot Hollywood movies and some also, in fact, Indian movies. Let's take a look at the list of the movies. We're playing that out on your screen. Mission Impossible. So this mission is cheaper than this movie, Mission Impossible. Adi Purush is one of the films, which is a big shot film. Budget of that was higher than Chandrayaan 3 mission. Avengers, then you have Avatar. Cost is 1,000 crores. Interstellar cost was 1,062 crores. Mission Impossible cost 2,386 crores. And Adi Purush was made with a budget of 700 crores. Avengers Endgame, 2,000 crores. Professor R.C. Kapoor, in terms of that, ISRO has achieved a major milestone, cutting down the cost. Now, this is very interesting to include technological advancements, innovations to accommodate changes in Chandrayaan 3, learning from partial failure of Chandrayaan 2 and still make it cost effective?
Certainly yes, because you must have seen images of the early years of ISRO when on cycles spare parts of some rocket were being carried. So from that point we have come quite far. Today ISRO is one of the biggest space agencies. And so far as the cost is concerned, as it was explained a little earlier in this session, that we have used gravity to propel our spacecraft toward the moon, and using gravity we have saved on fuel quite a lot. And of course that has given us great advantage. In the meantime, when Lunar 25 came, some people felt that okay, possibly Lunar 25 is going to land a day earlier, but after that the sense of competition also vanished, because any space venture is always welcome, because with all good intent and hard work it is being sent to the space and then for certain achievement. So here now India is going to create history, because once I feel that as ISRO is confident we are going to land on the moon, nobody else, no other space agency has been able to do that so far. So besides, the South Polar region attracts us so much for the simple reason that because it's going to tell us about the early history of the moon and the solar system. So one of the most important aspects. But when we come to 615 crore rupees, so let me just tell you that today I have seen the enthusiasm of the young generation,
right,
and the expectations on the faces of Indians, all of Indians. I think the kind of awareness it has created and the inspiration it has created, 650 rupees have been well spent, and whatever now we are going to get in the evening today will be a bonus only.
Absolutely. This, in fact, has inspired an entire generation. We have reactions coming in from school kids, absolutely excited to witness the historic moment when it happens. Now, before we move on and talk about what next, discuss the Gaganyaan mission and other upcoming interesting missions that are going to be carried out by NASA, let's play out this ground report.
They are telecasting Times Now live in the auditorium to get each and every fresh updates. And let's check out how's the Josh here among the students. How's the Josh?
बहुत बहुत आप सबका धन्यवाद।
और क्रेडिट वॉर छिड़ गई है। कांग्रेस का कहना है कि बीजेपी हर चीज का क्रेडिट ले रही है।
मेरी बात सुनिए, आप सुनिए मेरी बात सुनिए। देखो ये गुरुद्वारे में ऐसा नहीं होगा, बाहर जाके बात करें। हम सब आज माननीय हरदीपुरी जी के और माननीय हमारे भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अध्यक्ष हैं विजेंद्र गुप्ता जी, वीरेंद्र सचदेवा जी के साथ सामूहिक साथ संगत ने गुरुद्वारा बंगला साहब में चंद्रयान 3 के सफल लैंडिंग के लिए अरदास की है। इस अरदास में सारे लाखों करोड़ों संगत जो है साथ में है। पटना साहब गुरुद्वारा साहब में अरदास की गई, आज सुबह गुरुद्वारा शीशगंज साहब में अरदास की गई। हम सब ने अरदास की है और हमारी गुरु साहब के चरणों।
All right, so those of course were reactions coming in from the Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, and there was Manjeet Singh Sirsa as well, praying, hoping for this successful mission Chandrayaan 3, hoping that there will be a soft landing on moon this time around. We have Adrija joining us in the broadcast with some more reactions. Adrija, what is the latest that you're picking up?
Well, absolutely, you see, this is a very exciting moment for the entire nation, and right now I'm standing in Birla Industry and Technological Museum in Kolkata itself, and I'm being joined by an expert who will be explaining to us the model of the soft landing that will be happening on moon today. Sir, if you can just explain to us the model first.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Rakesh Mandal from Curator BITM. So this is a small model, you can see. This is a small model of the Vikram Lander. Okay, so this is a model which is carried by this rocket. So this is not this model, the original thing was carried by this model. Everything is model we are showing. So this is GSLV Mark III, or now it's calling LVM M3 M4. So that is there. So this has a two solid booster there, which is this two solid fuel. It is booster fuel it is using. Then they are coming the liquid part of the fuel. Then the cryogenic fuel, which is very efficient. Now India had indigenous cryogenic fuel, and in the top part, all this what are there, the lander, the rover inside that, and also the propulsion module that is there in the top part of it. So now the work of the rocket is just to place in an orbit, in a orbit of the Earth, and then it is with it has a two-part mainly. One is landing module and another is propulsion module. So propulsion module it has its own fuel. It can give thrust to increase the orbit, radius of the orbit. It is a highly elliptical orbit, and then slowly it was increasing its orbit, and then after certain radius, if it is increased, then it's transferred to translunar orbit. It goes towards the moon, and then moon catches under its own gravity, and then it has a relatively longer radius orbit, which has to be decreased in like
all right,
100
that was very
kilometer
informative, Adru. Just stay on with us. We also have Deepak joining us on the broadcast now. Deepak, everything is set, everything as per schedule, says ISRO. And once the lander module reaches the designated spot, the landing will be activated, it will be initiated. Deepak, can you hear me?
Well, yes, here at ISRO, it's just moments before, of course, we are allowed inside where there is a live screening. But at this point in time, we are expecting a few people representatives from ISRO as well to come out and give us a small brief. We're just making our way inside the ISRO building here in Pune and Bengaluru. But of course, the latest update that ISRO gave us through a tweet that they put out is that the automatic landing system will be initiated very soon. And that will, of course, happen at MOX. This is the, a control complex where all the scientists, of course, sitting together had put out a picture as well of them glued to their screens, ensuring that all the parameters that they have set, are in the proper place. They do not want to have any sort of glitches this time around. A lot of checking and rechecking has been done from the scientists. And as we speak at this point in time, in just moments from now, we will, of course, be trying to bring our viewers all the access that ISRO will allow for the journalists from inside the ISRO building here in Pune. But at this point, a billion prayers, a billion hopes, all glued on this particular mission. Last time, we do, of course, understand that there were certain glitches towards the very end. And this time, there are measures that have been taken to rectify the mistakes. More importantly, the orbiter that took Chandrayaan 2 to the lunar orbit, even now is giving information, is giving data to help Chandrayaan 3. So it's a collective effort, you could say, of Chandrayaan 2 and also the system of Chandrayaan 3 that will all work together along with the scientists at ISRO to ensure that this mission is a success.
Absolutely. It's not just about touchdown, because the real job for the lander, the rover, the engineers, the scientists, the entire team will begin post-landing. The lander and the rover will carry out their studies, send all the data back to Earth, and the team here will have to go through tons and tons of data that they receive from the rover through, of course, the orbiter. Let's take a look at what will happen once Vikram the lander lands on the surface of the moon. One of the walls, one of the panels, in fact, will unfold and it will drop down and it will create this ramp. This ramp here, it will be created so that the rover Pragyan can come out of the lander. So that is step one. Now let's take a look at step two. The wall will become slanting ramp for the rover to roll out of the surface of the moon. Like I explained, the panel will unfold and form a ramp for the rover to come out. Step number 3, rover will be slowly released to the ground using a pulley system. All the while, when the rover moves around on the surface of moon, it will stay connected with the lander. So it will communicate with the lander, lander will communicate with the orbiter, and it is through the orbiter that the data will be transmitted to Earth. Step 4, once the rover touches the surface of the moon, the rope will be disconnected. So the rover will get a ramp to move out slowly off the lander, and once it touches the lunar surface, the rope will be disconnected. Step 5, lander will take an image of the deployed rover and vice versa. So constantly whatever is happening on the surface of the moon is going to be monitored through those cameras that have been placed, the payloads that have been placed. We in fact have a viewer, Shama, joining us on the broadcast. Please go ahead if you have a question for our experts.
I have no question excepting my best wishes, my आशीर्वाद, and we are praying, and it's a बहुत बड़ा step है हमारे भारतीय. I'm living मैं अभी जी रही हूँ 83-year-old to see this. God bless all and a success.
Well, thank you so much for connecting with us. We definitely need all the prayers and all the blessings. We're waiting for a successful soft landing. We have more viewers. We have Suresh joining us from Bengaluru. Mr. Suresh, if you can hear me, just go ahead. If you want to wish the team, go ahead. If you have a question, we have a panel here to answer your question.
No, hi, this is Suresh here from Bangalore. This is going to be an historic moment for India, being the fourth country to land on moon and the first country to land on South Pole. I am sure ISRO scientists are going to have a success in this. They have done a very great job, and I wish them all the success. And it's going to be a very historic moment. Bharat Mata Ki Jai.
Absolutely, it is going to be a historic moment. Thank you very much for calling us. Now, Shantanu, we spoke about the steps that we will witness once the landing happens and how the rover will come out. Okay. I am being told that we have a reaction coming in. Shantanu, I'll take that question with you in some time, right after we play this reaction. We have a reaction from the former DRDO chairman, G. Satish Reddy.
Rolling. As India awaits the historic touchdown of Chandrayaan-3 lander, I have with me the former Secretary and Chairman of DRDO, Mr. G. Satish Reddy. Sir, a very warm welcome on Times Now.
Thank you.
How do you take this mission, which is moving ahead with a fast pace? How do you cheer it, and what do you think about the success?
It's a very important day for the nation. The success of this mission means a lot for the country. It will be a big day. We all wish that this Chandrayaan-3 mission will be a great success. ISRO has done after America, Russia and China, and will be the first country to land on the South Pole. So this is again a great thing for the nation.
So how do you think it will impact, the success of this mission will impact for the further missions and further space technology and many other such projects?
First of all, this is a great mission, right from the launch and going to the orbit around Earth, and then traveling all the way to moon, orbiting around it, and so many days travel, and then slowly reducing the orbital height, and finally coming to 25 by 134 kilometers. And today, with the Vikram using its own thrusters, slowly bringing down the velocity and touching down smoothly, and then later rover coming out and doing the experiments. You see, it's such a complex mission. Hundreds of systems and thousands of various components and other things which are there in this, and the control, guidance, navigation, and then the orbital estimations and atmosphere related estimations. So many things play a major role. So the success of it brings a great technological boost to the nation. The science and technology in the country will get a boost. The scientists and technologists will get a lot of confidence and inspiration to do such complex missions, and also develop very critical things and fundamental things in the country. This is the major thing. And also, most of these all the systems are developed in the country indigenously, and that actually gives a boost to Atmanirbhar Bharat. So the country becomes self-reliant in such critical things, and becoming one of the 4 nations is a great thing, and also the first nation to land on the South Pole. This is something which gives you a lot of capability in the country in the coming years.
So while we're getting you all these reactions, we also have inside visuals of the control room. At this point of time, everything looks very cool and calm. But I'm sure the moment, when the moment arrives of a touchdown, there's going to be a lot of nervousness and excitement as well. For the moment, we're taking a very short break. Our guests will continue to be with us. We'll get you more reactions from our viewers as well on the other side.